Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is Ronsley. It's really good to have you here. And I think this is a really good time to say hello to everyone that's kind of joining this live stream or watching the replay. If you're watching the replay, just in the comments, say replay so I kind of know when you get a chance to watch this. Because it's going live on different places. It's going live on LinkedIn, on X, on Facebook. I think the LinkedIn thing didn't work for the last couple of days, but Instagram as well today, and YouTube. So good to have you here. I want to show you what's coming up today on the show before we move on. I've got some really cool stuff for you. So let me just show you what's coming up. These are from the last few live sessions. So I'm going to do 3 a week. That's the plan, at least, is to do 3 a week. This week and next week, we're focusing on growing revenue. So what are the tactics that you need to grow revenue, amplify profit in your business? How to use AI to achieve it? On Tuesday, we spoke about strategizing your business and setting and executing your business goals using AI. And we did that at speed, which was kind of cool. So if you haven't watched that, go check that out. We also spoke about Elon Musk suing OpenAI. Yesterday, I covered a few things, including what to do with the goals and how to create your regular measurements, what I call vital signs of your business, to know whether your business is healthy. We picked vital signs and how we took our OKRs, objectives and key results, into creating what the goals of our vital signs were, so to sort of measure them and how to interact with our goals. We did all that yesterday. So moving on from there, today we've got really cool stuff on. Today I want to focus on streamlining product sales. Now, most of us kind of need this in a lot of ways. Because whether we already have a product that needs streamlining or whether we're creating a new product that needs streamlining, being able to do this process is extremely valuable. So coming up on the show, we're going to go through this process of lead to prospect to client. We're going to organize the sales process, and we're also going to get into this idea that a case study client, or a client that is very that gets results, I suppose, with your business, that takes on becomes a client and buys into the transformation that you're providing. This becomes extremely valuable. That a case study client actually having a great onboarding sequence is really powerful. So we're going to do a few things in this tactic today. We're going to talk about the product buy page, so how to do that quickly. What kind of information does the client or the person need before they become a client, and what do they need after they become a client? This is the onboarding piece. And then also, what is your method to triage and to sell? Like how are you making sure that the people that are becoming clients are the right people? And how are you asking them to sell? So that's going to do that today. Today we're going to talk about OpenAI and how open is OpenAI, because I think it's important to understand the ethical side of things around artificial intelligence. I know a lot of us are going either human intelligence versus artificial intelligence, and I want to say that there's a way to augment the human intelligence with artificial intelligence. So these kind of concepts about in the news are really important for us to be aware of. I'm going to talk about the founding principles of OpenAI. What are the changes over the last few years? What are the secrets that are being kept? And why it should be more open. So I think that gives away how open OpenAI is. We're going to get into a really cool tool called Groq with a Q at the end. It's very fast and it's very free at the moment as well. So we'll cover that. And then for this particular tactic, this is a really great episode, number 20 on the Amplify AI podcast. We talk about taking leads to convert leads into clients using artificial intelligence, and we're going to cover a really cool technique today, the 5 1s. So let's get into the show. Let's start with the news. All right. So I did a bit of research on OpenAI. Actually, I actually asked artificial intelligence to do a bit of research about OpenAI, and here's some really interesting things. Okay, OpenAI was founded in 2015. Most of us might know that or not know that, but in its early years, OpenAI published a lot of its AI research openly. However, since 2019, 2020, it began shifting to a more closed approach. OpenAI transitioned from a pure non-profit to a capped profit company in 2019, and that's when all this closed thing started to go about, because they took $1 billion of investment from Microsoft. So you understand how those two tie in. A lot of things with OpenAI is very limited details on, which I was talking about earlier, like the model architecture for GPT-4, the training data, the compute used. We don't even know the actual size of the training data. So how many billion parameter model is it? It is. Some people say it's a 1 trillion parameter model. That's why it is so fast, and that's why it's so good at reasoning. The other thing is that OpenAI stance is that, so from their point of view, they're saying that AI systems are becoming very powerful, and openly releasing all the details would enable misuse. I'm not sure whether they're the right people to have that power necessarily to be able to. I think democratizing AI is something that's super important, because it's so powerful. To their point, it is so powerful that it should not be only available to certain people, or how it works shouldn't be only available to certain people. And I have a great episode coming up soon, actually. So if you this is a plan for all the lives, but I've got a great episode coming up about how the whole world is changing quite dramatically. But this O1 Lite is an open source, really powerful product that I think we would love, and see how much open is meant to be. It's an open source. So if you want to actually go ahead, and if you're watching right now, openinterpreter.com is where you go to find all that about the open source. But OpenAI stance is basically that this AI is becoming too powerful, and we don't want to release all this information because it can enable misuse. But they're also partnering with some organizations like the Associated Press and American Journalism Project to explore beneficial use of its technology. Again, this is in secret, and these partnerships are limited. Some argue that OpenAI's closed approach makes it harder for the wider AI community to audit its systems for safety and develop appropriate safeguards, which is totally true. And this kind of came up when Sam Altman got fired from his post on CEO at OpenAI, and that whole conundrum with the board. And what they said was that they felt that Sam Altman was not open enough. Considering the name of the company is OpenAI, that's quite interesting. But that's the news. Let's get into the tactics, so we can hopefully today finish before half an hour. My plan is actually to do this 20 minutes, but the last few ones have gone quite long. So today we're talking about streamlining sales, product sales. I want to show you, and the idea here is from going from an unstructured way of having sales to having higher conversion and having a more structured way of doing sales. So here, this is a chat that I had with Claude about streamlining product sales. So I gave it context from my book, which is this is my section on streamlining product sales. So I gave it some context, and I said, these are the steps that I want to execute. Can you understand them and get back to me? So it says, yeah, I understand. Here is the summary. What would you like clarification on? I said, this is great. How long would it typically take to execute this without artificial intelligence? So I'm trying to get an idea, okay, on how, if we were to do these things like product by page, what information does the prospect need and what information does the client need to get success? What is the method to triage and what's the method to sell? How long would all that take? And it gave me a really good response here. It's like, okay, product buy page, maybe 1 to 2 weeks, because you got to gather information and develop and design, prospect to a client from that information. How long would it take? About 2 to 4 weeks, and a total of between 6 to 12 weeks. Now, I was like, that is a long time, but what if we had to simplify that? How long would it take to change? And they're like, okay, well, let's simplify the process. About 4 to 6 weeks. So that's a long time. And I was like, okay, well, what were the typical costs involved for a company to perform this? And if the company has 5 to 8 full-time employees, I'm kind of giving it a range. And then it kind of decided to do something like that, and said, okay, total annual cost is between this and that. I don't know how much that is correct. It seems like excessive, but that's what it said. And then I was like, okay, now that you're aware of the process, what are the advantages for a company to perform this project? What are the costs of not doing it? And what are the regular, frequently asked questions about this? Now, I'm just trying to ideate with you how I would go about creating a product page. Because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to understand what it is that my client wants. So in this instance, right, if I'm saying that my client needs to understand that using artificial intelligence or augmenting their intelligence with artificial intelligence can drastically speed this up, and also it'll cost them much less than all these figures that have been put up here. And what I'm saying is, well, if that's the kind of person that I'm after, like, what are the advantages of them to streamline their product sales? Well, it increases efficiency, there's high conversion rates, it's improved customer experience, it's scalable, there's better data and insights. And if you don't, then there's missed opportunities, there's higher customer acquisition costs, which is totally true because it takes so long to do a whole bunch of different things. The competitiveness goes down. There's employee burnout because you're having to rethink all these things, and growth potential is limited. So, what are the frequently asked questions? Well, how long does it take to implement a streamlined product? Well, it says here 4 to 12 weeks. So hopefully we can get a good start today on doing it at speed, and I'll show you how to do that. What tools and technologies are required? It gave a whole bunch of stuff. What can streamlining product sales work for any type of business? Yeah, of course. How much does it cost to streamline? Well, what skills are required to successfully streamline product sales? So it's done a great job at that. Then I went, well, what are the ways to justify the cost, time, and effort of doing this process? Quantify the best you can the cost, time, and effort saving over the year to execute this process. Think this through step by step and give me your reasoning, please. And if you joined me on the live yesterday, you will know that I spoke about the chain of thought prompting. That's what's used in this prompt here. So the idea of using chain of thought prompting to get it to do what you wanted to do. Well, we covered that yesterday. But it broke it down. Well, the first step was to determine the current costs. Then it went, well, estimate the potential improvements, calculate the potential increase in revenue, calculate the potential cost savings, and then determine the potential benefit. And it did a pretty decent job of saying, hey, it's way better for you to do this over the 1 year. Now, this is not even considering that we use artificial intelligence to execute this. So what if we were to use artificial intelligence to execute this, right? The first thing I would suggest we do is like open a chat, right? Open a chat. This is Claude that I'm using. We can use ChatGPT, which is probably, I think between Claude and ChatGPT 4, we are pretty, those are two really, really good options, really smart artificial intelligences. So the first thing I would do is this template, and you can totally copy this template. I am and I'll say this is, I am a coaching and training company that helps business owners and leaders integrate AI into their business work flows ethically to grow revenue, brand, audience, and operations by using the Amplify AI pyramid and framework. My method is unique because one, it is methodical and step by step, while simple to implement. 2, it works and is created by and I've seen results. And then 3, there are regular training on how to use AI to get 1 free paid work day back a week in your business. That's off the top of my head. I'm just literally, I should have thought this through, but like obviously use that template. I'll just put that template again here. I am identify my business that helps this audience achieve this outcome by this method. My method is unique because, so you're giving it context. Now, here, the Amplify framework reflects a sophisticated blend. It deepens the conversation. It's impressive and essential. What am I asking? Oh, sorry. I didn't give it any instructions. I just gave it a statement that I am this person. Let me tell you what I wanted to do. I wanted to do this. So this is a previous prompt that I wrote. I'll give you another example in 1 second. So here, I am a video podcast production agency that helps business owners grow their business by having weekly regular podcasts where they do the recordings and we do the editing, repurposing, and publishing of their content. Okay, so that's another example of how to write that. But what I'm trying to do is I want a sales page. So to give you an idea of what we're doing, we're right now here, we're trying to, create a sales page. So what I'm going to do is copy this. So I am what we did earlier. So we use that template, and then I'm going analyze my audience and their problems and write a page to help them understand that my business can fix those problems. Then when writing the page, I want you to write out the best you can these sections. Now, I already put in the sections. However, you can potentially also say, look up the best landing pages for products online and then tell me what the template looks like. So now with context, it is pretty much writing my sales page. Now for me to have to write this all from scratch would have taken a long time. Now at least I have sections and I have a starting point. So you'll never have to start from a blank page ever again. Now it's doing a pretty amazing job by doing this. Now all I need to do is actually go in here and edit some of this out to actually reflect what I want, whether it got some of these things right. Now there's more specificity on what I offer. So what if I said, hey, can you rewrite this? Knowing my background as Ronsley, and also this is what's included in my program. And I'm giving it a list of things that are included in my program. Now you can totally do this as well, which will then refine that. And I want to highlight something very important here. I mean, I know lots of people around the planet have been selling super prompts, right? They're kind of going, hey, this super prompt will help you do X, Y, and Z. And large language models are not designed to work with super prompts really well. It's actually designed to have conversations, so understand something and then give it more context so that it understands what you're trying to do better, and then rewrite that better. So the more conversations and up and down you can have, the better results that you'll be able to get from any large language model. So here's the thing, right? What it's done is it's taken that, and it had taken that two pieces of context, and it's actually refined that much better. And it said, okay, here's the program description. This is who I'm after, how it works. It didn't really... this revised version incorporates your background. Okay, so we've kind of done the landing page, and then what you want to do is have all these things sorted. So you can literally say, write these sections out for me. Help me write these sections out. Here are testimonials that I have. Copy and paste them. Get your landing page done and get your thank you page done. Because I think those two are really important. Those two pages. The thank you page is probably more important than the landing page, but because it's probably the only page that everyone is definitely going to land on, which is actually something that you got to use. So actually saying nothing at the end when someone buys something from you, or someone gets your lead magnet, and not having a thank you page is like one of the biggest mistakes you can potentially make. But most of you that are on this or watching this probably already has a thank you page. So in this instance, when you're having a product buy page, this thank you page should have what information you want your client to know as soon as they've bought. So what you're trying to do is reduce buyer's remorse. What do they need to do after they buy? And that's what you want to have on the thank you page. Give them that instruction, because they've just bought, they've just spent money, and you want them to take action immediately. So these are the things that you got to have sorted. So I'm going to ask this question because I think it's really important. So consider my audience. What does my prospect need to know before they buy? They buy this product. Make a list of important information, and then pick your best two. Make a list of 7 pieces of important information and pick your best two. Think this through step by step and give me your reasoning. Okay. So it's first considering who my audience is, and then it's saying, okay, to evaluate committing to the Amplify framework, here's a thorough list. They have to understand the current AI landscape. They should have a basic understanding of what's happening and the potential impact that AI can have. This foundational knowledge will help them appreciate the value of your program. That is really important and valuable and super well put. Ethical considerations, since your framework specify, understanding the potential ethical dilemmas. So you want someone who actually cares about using AI the proper way is obviously the person to target. Current business challenges. So it's done 7, and then it's picked the favorite 2. And this is so powerful because it's first ideated and thought the whole thing through. And then once it's done that, it's kind of gone, okay, based on that, I give you these 2 most important things. So ethical considerations in AI integration and the program structure and content. So these are 2 most important things that my prospect needs to know when they buy from me. So before they get to the sales page or while they're on the sales page, you want these 2 things to be front and center. And this is specifically for me, right? For my program. So what does the client need to know after they buy? So this is great. What does the client need to know after they buy? Actually, there's a better way to do that. So this is another thing you can do. You can stop your thing halfway through. You can stop the instance of it running the prompt halfway through, and then come here to edit this, and say, use the same technique you used above. So you can edit that prompt for it to do the second version of that. Yeah, totally, right? So if you're in this phase where you're trying to sort some of these things out, I remember when I had to do these myself and how long it would take and how brain dead I would be at the end of doing something like this. Now, one of the huge parts of my book is how important artificial intelligence is, and from an ethical consideration, how important it is for a business owner or an entrepreneur or a business leader to reduce the cognitive load of their team is an ethical consideration they should be aware of, because that is really, really important. So reducing the cognitive load helps you do other things, or gives you the capacity to do other more important things. Now, how long would that have taken, and how much of brain power would that have taken me if I had to do it myself? So it's kind of done this really important thing, right? It's kind of given me, this is what the 2 main things that my client needs to know after they bought. So I want to make sure that that's in my onboarding process. When they're buying from me, I want them to know that you've just bought, and I'm going to give you this important piece of information that you need right now to actually take action, so you can get your outcome or the transformation that I promised you. Now I promised this technique, the 5 1s, and maybe I'll use it here. And it's like this. I learned from my coach Taki Moore, but he says there are 5 really important things to think about, and I could really butcher this, but it is 1, transformation. 1 transformation to 1 audience with 1 product. 1 lead source, and for 1 year. And 1 transformation to 1 audience with 1 product with 1 lead source for 1 year will give you $1 million for that product if you focus and you do the 5 1s. Now that becomes important, especially when you're trying to create a product page and do these things. And sometimes it takes so long to launch that you don't even get into the reps of doing this 5 1s. You stop at not having a place to send people to. So that becomes super valuable, especially when you're doing